Afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming in this afternoon. On Friday at about 5:30, police from Firearms Branch attended a property at Bracunga, or in the Bracunga area, where they were speaking to a licensed firearm holder and found a large quantity or large number of illegal firearms. These firearms include pistols, shotguns, machine gun and a SKS assault rifle. These weapons are of a concern to the community and they shouldn't be in the community. The assault rifles are the most strictly controlled weapons in South Australia and you need a very good reason to have them. This person didn't have the appropriate licences to have those firearms. Not only were they insecure, but there were magazines loaded in the vicinity of some of these weapons, being a pistol and also the assault rifle. The assault rifle is this particular firearm here with the 30-round magazines in front. The quantity of ammunition that was in these magazines in the bag below, but also the wooden crate with the yellow labels holds 1,000 rounds of ammunition that would be suitable for this firearm. The SKS is a firearm that's made for war. It's purely designed for killing people. This one has a foldable bayonet that folds under the barrel of the firearm and is used for hand-to-hand combat. It has no other reason than for killing people. The same can be said for the machine gun, which is this particular firearm here. While it may look like a relic, it wouldn't take much to bring it back to its to be able to fire ammunition. We also seized over 200 kilos of ammunition from the house, and a lot of it included military ammunition. The Australian Defence Force has assisted with this investigation and have also seized some of the ammunition. Other items of interest that were stolen that will be further investigated are sound moderators or silencers, crossbows, daggers, and other dangerous items. This person, we were able to take action because someone provided us information, and it's important that if anyone in the community know that people have these types of firearms, that they call Crime Stoppers and advise us. Also, if people have these types of firearms or unregistered firearms, there's an ongoing amnesty and they can take those firearms to police stations or a dealer and hand them in. Do you have any questions?
What's your reaction to you coming across this amount of firearms and ammunition and that sort of thing?
It's disturbing and it's shocking because we just have to see what happens in other countries around the world, and some of these weapons are the most lethal that are made, and they don't belong in the community.
You're saying some of these weapons are purely designed for killing people. Yep. What do police allege this man's motive was for having all these weapons?
We're still investigating that side of what's occurred. We've had to seize over 200 firearms, and to process those and conduct the investigation will take us some time. But we'll look at all aspects of the Firearms Act and determine what the most appropriate charges are.
So can you tell us the total number of weapons that you seized from this man's property?
203 illegal weapons, and he had 38 registered firearms.
Were those registered firearms registered to him?
Yes.
What reason would he have to have so many registered firearms?
Whenever anyone wants to register a firearm, we look at the purpose of why they want them registered. He's a primary producer and he was able to convince us that he had a legitimate reason for those firearms.
When you say a tip-off, was it a tip-off from somebody in his community?
I'd rather not say, but we do act on any information that's provided to us, and we value information that is provided to us.
Is he known to police?
Well, he's known because he's got a firearms licence, but
For any criminal?
no, not that I'm aware of.
Did he say why he had so many? Was he a
No.
shooter, was it recreational, was he shooting animals?
No. No, we haven't looked at that side. We haven't asked him specifically about these weapons.
Is he ex-Defence Force or anything like that?
Not that we're aware of. We've had assistance from the Australian Defence Force because of the equipment that we've found there.
Can you just explain what you mean by that? So some of these weapons Army issued
Well, that's what we're trying to determine. It's not so much the weapons, it's the ammunition and some of the other associated equipment that was found at the scene. So magazines that are used in rifles, probably not the current day rifles, but more from automatic assault rifles in the 80s.
So can you tell us in what ways is the Australian Defence Force assisting you, or how have they been assisting you?
Well, they've removed some ammunition and some explosives that were at the scene. So they've assisted in that way, and then we've let their investigation area know, and they'll provide assistance to my detectives.
And was it 38 or 32? The press release says 32 registered firearms.
No, it's 38.
38?
Yeah.
Have you been able to go through any documents or computers of his to see whether...
We've seized a significant amount of evidence, and we will be looking at all those aspects.
Anything that you can shed some light on at this stage about what you may have found? Has he been ranting online or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Are police looking into terrorism at all?
Not from this perspective, no.
Of the 203 illegal firearms, any of them believed to be stolen at this point?
We don't know the provenance of any of the firearms of yet, but we will be looking at whether they're stolen, how they've come into the country. Yeah.
Any of them look like they've been fired recently?
We'd have no, not that I'm aware of. No, we will have them examined by ballisticians who will provide that sort of advice.
So you mentioned in passing that the military had helped see some explosives.
Yes.
What explosives were found?
There were some flashbangs, what they call flashbangs.
What are they used for generally?
I'm assuming they make a flash of light and a loud bang to disorientate people.
The release as well said some of the weapons were found in hidden rooms. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, there were hidden rooms within the property, and it took a search over 3 days to locate what we believe are all the firearms.
Would there have been other family members or children on this property living there?
No, not that we're aware of.
Would you describe it as a farm?
I would describe it as a rural property. Yep.
Is he cooperating with police from the get-go?
That's not for me to say at this stage.
We've obviously just had 2 terrible mass shootings in America. Does that underscore how serious a fine like this could be?
Most definitely. The assault rifle is very similar to the weapons that weapon that was used on the weekend. It's a 30, as you can see, there's 6 30-round magazines there with 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Now, I'm not saying this person would be inclined to do something like that, but it's disturbing that these type of weapons are unlawfully in the community.
Just how dangerous is finding a hall like this?
Well, it's not so much dangerous. It's that it's good that we've removed them from the community, but it's dangerous when they're kept illegally in the community, because then we don't know who has access to them. That's where the risk comes in.
Sorry, do you think that this is, I guess, call for, or I guess at least sparks some concern about how one person could have 38 registered firearms? Is that a concern that one person really needs 38 firearms?
No, it's our Firearm Act in South Australia is probably the best in Australia, and it provides the right balance between keeping the community safe and also understanding that legitimate firearms ownership and use is that there is a legitimate use for lawful ownership of firearms. But what people must remember is that firearms ownership and use is a privilege, and it's conditional on the overriding need for public safety. So public safety is the overriding need. Ownership is a privilege, not a right.
So does that mean that the guns that you mentioned that are only intended for killing, none of those were the registered ones?
No.
And do you think this is a message to people in the community to keep an eye on their neighbours, or what message would you have for people?
If you know of any illicit firearms or concerns that there are illicit firearms, call Crime Stoppers and let us know so that we can investigate.
Do you think people should keep an eye on their neighbours?
Well, I think we should all generally keep an eye on each other from a community perspective anyway, in case our neighbours need help, or, it's not just about looking for criminal behaviour, but just being a community.
Did the tip-off come from a Bukanga
It came through a police investigation, and that's all I'm really prepared to say at this stage.
Last questions?
So just how large is this hall, I guess, in relation to other firearms halls? in the
It's a significant hall, and it's significant because of the types of weapons. There are a large number of handguns, and as I said, this firearm here is the most disturbing. It's an assault rifle used by the military. It's no place in the community,
Any Viking?
not that we're aware of.
And you have no idea how he came into possession?
No, we'll be looking into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.